Hello, and welcome to Therapeutic Thursday. Today we're going to discuss a 5-step strategy for decision making. So every day we are making decisions all day, every day. And so that could be things from which shirt you would like to wear, to what food, to even the TV show that you feel like watching that day. Some of these decisions can be easy for us, and at other times these decisions can be more difficult and may require a deeper level of thought, which is where this 5-step strategy can be helpful. So the first step is to identify your goal. So one of the most effective decision-making strategies is to keep an eye on your goal. And that simply means identifying the purpose of your decision by asking yourself, what is your goal? What would you like that to look like? What are you moving forward towards? And with that, then you can start asking some questions on, is this decision in line with my goal and moving me forward towards my goal? Or is this decision not in line with my goal and perhaps hindering me? Step 2 is to gather information for weighing out your options. And so this step requires getting as much necessary information as possible and then using that information to create a pro and cons list. So writing out in what ways this is a pro, a beneficial decision, and in what ways may this decision be a con or a hindrance towards your goal. And so weighing through those different options and looking at them. Step 3 is to consider the outcomes. And so sometimes this step can be just as important as our first step because it will aid us in determining how our final decision will impact ourselves and or any others involved. So in this step, it gives us the time to look at, if I made this decision, what would be a possible outcome? And this is an essential step because it allows us to review that pros and cons list that we did in the previous step. And it also can help us to see if we feel comfortable with our different options and the possible outcomes of whatever it is that you decide. The next step, step 4, is to make your decision. Now, I understand that this step can come with a lot of different emotions coming up. And so this might be a time to take a step back, connect with yourself, and just see where some of those hesitations might be lying in or what they might be rooted in. And then reviewing maybe again the goal, the pros and cons list, the different outcomes, because no matter what decisions that we make in life, there will always be outcomes, whether we see them as positive, negative, somewhere in between or outside of that. And so just taking that moment to connect with yourself, asking yourself, does this feel right for me? Or maybe even connecting with, is this decision what works best for me now? May it look different in the future? Is that okay with me? And just kind of connecting with all of these different questions, some of the emotion behind it, and then when you're ready, making that decision. And then the last step is step 5. And this is just a moment for us to be able to evaluate that decision. So once we've made our decision and we've put it all into action, it can be helpful for us to evaluate that decision, review it, and to maybe make some notes on what steps we may need to take to ensure that it continuously moves forward for us. Also keeping open that this may, along the way, require some changes, or you might seek out some new information that may change that. And that's perfectly okay. And so being able to go through and review how we're feeling about that, what that looks like, and knowing that we can always go back to reviewing and looking at that and seeing if maybe there's some other options that you would like to explore within that. So I thank you for joining me this Therapeutic Thursday. I hope you have a great long weekend.